Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about right pricing, the strategy to achieve your results in real estate sales. So let's jump in and we're going to get down and dirty with talking through the why and the how of right pricing. And let's start with this. What is right pricing? Right pricing is, much like it sounds like it would be, pricing something right. And we mean right on the money, not underpricing, not overpricing, just right on the money. And let me tell you the story of two people. There's Bill and then there's Karen. You know, Karen. Bill says, hey, I want to sell my house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Little Rock, Arkansas, or Oklahoma City. Let's just keep it local. Oklahoma City. And Bill's house is worth $200,000, more or less. You know, he heard Larry down the street say that his house sold for $250,000, but well, Larry's got a pool, so Larry's also got a couple hundred square feet more, but Bill doesn't really care about that because Bill's a novice. Bill wants to do this. Bill wants to say, you know, what if I price my home at $220,000? Now, Bill's a clever guy. Bill's going to take his $200,000, more or less, home, and he's going to price it at $200,000 and then $20,000 premium. Bill's doing this so that he can give the buyer a deal. What a deal, Bill! So you're going to come in, you're going to price at $220,000, and then the buyer's going to come in, they're going to say, well, Bill, I want a deal. So they're going to offer you $200,000, and then you're going to counter at $210,000. You've given them $10,000, and now they feel like they have just won the moon and the stars and the home. So they're going to come up to $210,000. They're going to sign the dotted line, and man, you got a sale. Well, what's the net effect? Okay, buyer paid $10,000 more than the perceived market value of the home, or the appraisal value of the home, or the real market value of the home, and you know, Bill got $10,000 more. But that's the idea, and we see it day in and day out. And if you've ever dealt with for sale by owners in Oklahoma, you know that's what everyone thinks. Now, there are a few for sale by owners who are doing it for different reasons. Then I think I'm smarter than agents, or agents are worthless, or I've been screwed over by an agent. And those are the minority cases, and that's, don't take any offense from me there if you're one of those. So, but Bill's going to give the buyer a deal, and Bill's going to walk away with about $10,000 more out of his home. But what actually happens, and this has been documented with incredible excellence in the book Zillow Talk by Stan and the other founder of Zillow. They have, or at least in the past, they've done a fantastic job of getting into the data and really letting numbers speak for themselves. And so that's one of the things we really enjoy about the upper level leadership of Zillow. And for a deeper look, you should look into that book if you're interested, or you can take the thoughts here. So Bill's got a great idea. Bill is a representative of scads and scads of sellers. But what happens is that there are also Karens of the world. And Karen calls a savvy real estate professional from Craftsman Real Estate Services and says, hello, savvy real estate professional. I don't know what the value of my home is. Could you tell me? And savvy real estate professional looks it up and says, well, Karen, it looks like things in your neighborhood sell between $190,000 and $203,000. Your home has a 2-car garage instead of a 3-car garage, so we would recommend pricing at $200,000. So Karen says, I trust you. You're good at this. This is why you're the professional, and I'm paying the same either way, so I might as well follow your advice. Let's do it, savvy real estate professional. And so Karen signs the dotted line. Houses go up on the market, and now Karen is on the market. Karen's home, did we forget to mention this, is functionally equivalent to Bill's home. So now Bill and Karen are both willing sellers of homes that are functionally equivalent. So what happens over time to Karen, who is owning a 3-bed, 2-bath home worth $200,000, and Bill, who owns a 3-bed, 2-bath home worth $200,000, but has priced it at $220,000 so he can give the buyer a deal? Well, the market is smart enough to do a couple things pretty regularly. And one of those is to explore all well-marketed options. So if, assuming both are on the MLS and both are syndicated to every website, from coast to coast, then the market is aware of Bill and Karen's house. And the market is going to walk through Bill's house and then walk through Karen's house, and they're going to say, aren't these the same? So now all of a sudden, Karen's house, which was just a $200,000 house, just a normal, plain Jane, $200,000 3-bed, 2-bath house, feels like a deal compared to Bill. So Bill's intention was to give a deal to the buyer, and drive his own profits up, drive her own profits up. And yet Karen, just relying on the sage counsel of the real estate professional who believed in right pricing as a strategy, priced on the money, and the market saw that compared to overpriced Bill, and it created some urgency. It created scarcity for Karen's house. And I'll be darned if scarcity isn't directly tied to value. So what happens? Statistically, the Karens of the world, the right pricers, sell their homes for a 1.7% premium to the Bills of the world in 17 fewer days on market. The Karens of the world, the right pricing people, sell their homes for more money in less time than the people who price their home above what it is worth in hopes of psychologically tricking the buyers into paying more, but feeling like they got a deal. So in theory, and yes, we all want that. We all, if I could take my phone and you would pay me more than it's worth and still get a deal, still feel like psychologically fulfilled in every way, that would be amazing. However, you can Google this phone right now. You can look it up on, it's an iPhone. You can look it up on Apple's website. You can look it up on hundreds of different websites. You can get on Facebook Marketplace and find dozens and dozens and dozens of sellers of this phone. So it's not overly difficult to figure out what the market value of this phone is. And so it is with housing. And what the Bills of this world don't understand is that while they fear underpricing, they fear this idea of leaving money on the table. And it's a very real and understandable fear. But what the Bills of this world don't understand is that they're setting up a scenario where the Karens of this world, the ones that are just going to either for the sake of following the counsel of the real estate professional, or because they just want out of the house, or whatever the Karens of this world's stories are, the Bills and the Karens in the same arena create an advantageous scenario for the right priced product. And so, like 10 times out of 10, if similar products are on the market, and I have a caveat here, but if similar products are on the market is efficient enough to recognize that one of them is priced, could be too low, could be on the money, but the other is priced relatively high, so this one's the deal. This one's scarce. This one's valuable. And so the market will take this, sometimes at a more premium mindset as far as the price. Sometimes people will say, well, Karen's listed this for $200,000. I want it, because it's a $20,000 better deal than this other one, so I'll sacrifice $5,000 of the better deal. So I'm going to write a higher offer. Sometimes it's terms and conditions. Maybe they say, oh, well, I've got to have this Karen deal, so I'm willing to purchase it and waive my inspection contingencies. Whatever it is. It could be in price terms, conditions, it could be speed to close, but on average, the right priced homes sell for a premium over the inflated price homes, who tend to, instead of recognizing their inflated price and doing a large correction, they tend to ding, 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 correct $500 to $1,500 at a time, effectively bleeding out in full view of the market, who sees it and does what you and I do every time we look at a listing, see that it's been on a relatively long time, and see them adjusting the price $500 to $1,000 at a time. You say, I wonder how farther they'll go. I wonder if they'll keep going. And what kind of mindset do you think that question creates in an offer? Is it a generous offer? Is it a scarce offer of, I've got to have it. I want this house. This house is a deal. No. It's a deal-seeking mindset. It's a, you're bleeding, there's blood in the water. I wonder if I can get just a little bit better. And so over and over again, we see that the overpricers versus the right pricers, the right pricing strategy, pricing it on the money, is the more profitable way to go. And let me speak to the idea of underpricing for a moment. Underpricing is a little bit of a nuanced thing because there are people who intentionally underprice. And this has historically been a thing. You know, I've seen houses listed for $1 that are clearly worth $600,000. And, you know, that's a little chintzy. I mean, it's cool in its own right, but it's, for the sake of our conversation, we're going to call that like a different scenario. But let's say that Karen has a cousin, Christy, and Christy had, oddly enough, the identical house, same neighborhood as Bill and Karen, and Christy accidentally priced it at $160,000. Well, the real value of the home is $200,000. So what happens if Christy underprices? Does she get the same or more money than Karen? Does she get more money than Bill? And what I would tell you is that the market is fairly efficient at realizing when things are overpriced, and it is similarly efficient at figuring out when things are underpriced. And if you've been doing real estate in 2020 and 2021, you know that when there's scarcity in the water, people will offer absurd things. And so if you remove the scarcity factor, then it tends to go back to a more normalized market. And even in a normalized market, if it's discernible, which it is for most homes, if it's discernible what the market value is, and you see something come on that's much lower than that, the market has a very efficient mechanism for buoying that price up to at or near the full market value. And that is called multiple offers. That's called people realizing that something is underpriced and either snatching it up or making offers that lead to making offers that are good enough to really seize it. So in general, I want to allay your fears of it being possible to underprice a home. But in the end, I think the brilliance of the strategy of right pricing a home is that if you're working closely with a real estate professional, like the real estate professionals at Craftsman Real Estate Services, then we can read the market and fairly efficiently tell you what the market has immediately shown a willingness to do. And in moments like 2021, especially March, April, May, June, and July, where values are jumping 5 and 7% a month, we might be underpriced on the future, but you cannot afford. You should not chase the puck. You should, Wayne Gretzky was wise to say you should skate to where the puck is going. But in times of mania, we don't know where the puck is going. We can look more big picture and see where the puck is going, but we can't zoom in and say, well, it's been jumping in Oklahoma City for 5% a month for the last 3 months, so let's jump 5% more. If you price it on the money, if you look back in the near past and see what has the market shown a willingness to pay for this type of home, and you price on the money, then you are in the prime position to beat the bills in this world and to sell in shorter days, like less days, and for a premium in terms of sale price. You're also more likely to get a premium mindset with the buyer that is going to come into play with inspections and the subsequent treatment, repairs, and replacements negotiation, and with your appraisals. And so what you want is a premium mindset with the buyer, and you get that by right pricing. So don't be a Bill, be a Karen, and then we'll all be happy. Hope this has been fun. Hope you have fun working with our people. And if there's anything we can do to serve you in real estate, don't hesitate to reach out. And while you're here, subscribe so you don't miss any of our other future content. And let's keep having fun together.